Hello, everyone. My name is James Strong. This is the SIG networking subproject Ingress NGINX, and that means that we adhere to the CNC the CNCF's code of conduct. There's too many C's in that, which means essentially be kind to each other. If you have any issues, please report those to myself, Ricardo, or our special guest now, Shane, SIG network lead. Hey, Shane, give you a nice little call out.
Hello.
We do have one new member who just joined. If you'd like to introduce yourself, talk about what your interest is in the project, or not, that's fine. That's up to you. Okay. I don't think we had any action items from last week. We got the 112 release out, which was great. We have one issue that needs to be looked at. So that's good that we're getting that. We're getting feedback from that one. Shane is typing things. Um, I don't. I know there's one issue that we need to look into. I think really it was just a regex issue. I'm sure as more and more people start to use 112, those annotation validations will get a lot more eyes on it, which is good. I don't have the number directly in front of me. Does anybody
Hey, I have my update that I can give in 5 minutes on the
on
crossplane
crossplane?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, shoot.
So crossplane is working. The majority of the end-to-end tests they are passing, but the authentication ones, because I didn't port it yet, I didn't have time to do that. But I will probably do during this week or this weekend. And then my plan is to expose that as a flag on the controller and probably on the Helm chart as well, right? That people can opt in, at least on this release and maybe on the next one, to use crossplane instead of using the old template generator, knowing that when you start using crossplane, TCP and UDP things, they stop working, mod security stop working, and some other things. So I would be sure, I'll try to be sure that like people understand that like if you are like 95% of the users that don't care about those features, you can start using crossplane and let us know how this is going, right? The templates, they are really smaller. I mean, really, because it's just like a bunch of structures that generate templates. So there is not more that bunch of blank lines or comments or something like that. Um, yeah, and also the parser really works in the sense that I've tried to inject a bunch of bad configurations on that.
It rejects
Try
them.
to Yeah, it rejects a bunch of bad configurations, or if you don't understand it, like you are passing like a semicolon or something like that, it will add quotes. And if you try to add quotes, it will add a single quote. So it won't allow you to, at least it does a pretty good job avoiding you trying to escape bad configurations on each of the directives. Um, so with that, I hope that we at least get rid of the of all of the at least not all of, but the majority of problems on Go template parsing, and maybe for Nginx one Ingress 113. I don't know how we are gonna go with this anyway, but we can turn this into the fold and tell people like, hey, if you want to still keep using TCP and UDP, maybe we don't deprecate, but then now changing to use the Go template parser instead of using the crossplane parser, it's a risky move, and you're not
Yeah,
going to accept any more CVEs or something like that when you are using that old parser because it's deprecated, or we tag that as risky.
I like that idea. Again, like we've got the security defaults in 112 now, and users they have to make the conscious choice to disable them, opening
Mhm.
themselves up for CVEs. Same thing with crossplane. I like that. That
Yeah,
changes things a little bit with what we were talking about earlier, what we're going to talk about with our KubeCon talk, but I'm okay with releasing that for 113. We also still have 112 still a beta. We haven't released 112 officially. So I don't know what Ricardo, your thoughts are on just adding that as well. I don't know there's a lot of deprecations already, a lot of changes. But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if it's gonna be ready for 112. I don't want to block 112, and also I don't want to get commitments that I will just finish everything by this weekend because I want to have my social life. But
You know, we're your only friends.
yeah, but I think that at least like for 113 we can get it. The other thing that I'm working on, it's there are some valid cases of admins wanting to add configuration snippets, right? So I'm not saying about users, people that get access to Ingress resources. I'm saying about admins that actually want to add something like, I want to add this specific mod security rule on everything, or I want to add this GeoIP on everything. I don't know. I've
Yeah,
seen
this
some
one right here,
others.
this predefined custom
Y-
snippets.
y-
This one.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So my plan is to do something like that, that they are doing, but because of crossplaying, the idea is that instead of those being directives that we are gonna parse, we are gonna just say like, hey, by the way, now we include also those files that are rendered by this config map or something like that. So it's kind of mounting those snippets and saying like, this is like in this place we will always include the location snippet, the server snippet, and whatever snippet, and tell users like, we are not going to make more granular than that for users, but we allow you to, on each of those points of the configuration to add the snippet that you want if you are the user, and if you are the admin, and if you have the access to change things on the Ingress controller namespace, right? So snippets will still not be supported for end users, but and not initially by crossplay, but in the future, I'm considering on crossplay doing this way. So instead of doing parsing that, just adding the including the configurations, which by the way,
Well, Crossplane will validate that for us, right?
they will it will on the path back, right? So the validation of the template still happens. Crossplane does a two-way, right? The first one is just like I pass a bunch of directives and I say like validated from me, and then what I tell Crossplane is like, now given this generated configuration file that you have created, try to parse and see if everything is valid. And I can live without that, but I opted to always do that validation and block
I like
attempts to
that.
to break the configuration.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason that we'd want to
Mm.
push out a bad config.
Yeah, I mean, even just if someone says like, "Hey, this is slowing down controller, like this is taking more CPU," but right now I'm not letting people opt out of that, right? So it's just like it's part of the validation of the configuration to read back what was generated and see if what was generated it's a valid and parsable configuration.
Awesome. No, I like that improvement. I think that will go a long way
Mm.
for our security issues that we've been having.
Yeah. Folks, I gotta drop, but talk to you later. I may be back in 15 minutes if this is still happening.
Okay.
See ya.
Thank you. All right. Um, do we want to go through issue triage, or we've got Shane here too? I see that he's got a an ask here.
Oh, it's just like a PSA. You can do whatever you want first. I'll be here for the whole meeting.
Okay. You want to go through issue triage then? Marco. Let's see what we got. That one I'm gonna skip for now because that's yeah. We've always had issues with the crew plugin. Um, I wonder if we didn't produce the AMD one. I think we've had this issue before, where we didn't produce the AMD crew plugin. That might just be a simple
Performance issue on AMD.
No. So we also maintain a crew plugin for Kubernetes for
Oh,
Ingress, and I know for a while there we didn't produce a Mac one. Looks like we might not be producing an AMD one. I can take
Gotcha.
this one because it's hopefully it's just as easy as just updating the plugin.
Can you
How
go
many-
back?
Yes, we can go back.
I mean, the tag,
That's also
So-
really old.
yes, that's also a thing. But it might also be that we haven't built it at all in like ages, and I don't know, is the tag even there? Is this an existing tag?
Yeah, well, I just realized that's an old tag, but I'm just wondering if where do we even, where is it even at? I'll look at it, but yeah, hopefully that's a pretty easy one, especially with that being an old tag. Like, I wonder if we even built AMD that far back. 31 was before me. I think I started at 44, 45. So he might be out of luck on that one. And I hope they're really not using that controller version. I don't know if they map one-to-one controller version to crew version. I think we
No,
just
the tag is a controller tag.
Yeah, okay.
So, and normally that release then would contain the binaries for the plugin. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think we just don't have this tag, or I mean, even if it's just damn old, I think we just don't have this tag because normally controller tags are starting with an we. And yeah, so many questions.
Yeah. The predefined custom snippets, I'm just gonna let them know that Ricardo is gonna try this functionality out in the new crossplane. This one sounds like it's gonna require a little bit of time. Adding a flag to enable functionality. Workarounds.
That sounds wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, if there's a 401 or 403, why are we returning a response body?
Was an external out made for just telling, okay, you're allowed or you're not, by sending the same request to some other target?
Oh,
But
it's just
I
like
don't-
reading it down here.
Yeah.
It will return a response body from the external authentication. I'm guessing I don't know much about external auths. Like, do they have like, messages in there? Like, if you're getting a 401 or 403, like wrong username and password, try again. 403, yeah, denied. I think I don't know. Any thoughts?
Yeah. I'm not even sure if this is possible because this is in, for that, I think we're using a module, the auth request module, if I remember correctly. And this is just forwarding requests to a different target, and then not sure if you can really use the response from there and send it back to the client.
Also, it's for specific for a keep alive case. I don't understand that, because once you've authed, you get a jot back or you get a token back. Why do you need a keep alive case? Maybe I'm missing something else here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely needs more information. I can follow up with the ask on that. Just at so you guys don't have to watch me type.
Yeah, I think this is basically a limitation in the module we are using. So you cannot use the result from the auth request. The module
Okay.
is hiding this.
That's a terrible title, but we'll that's a separate topic. Yeah, we drop support for open tracing Zipkin. Yeah. They're just asking for us to update it.
Yeah, they're just updating the module again.
Yeah. So yeah, they're just asking us for us to update the module.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if this version works together with the Nginx version we're using. In the end, we might consider this. Ricardo was asking about updating the OpenResty 127.1.
Yeah, I
we
just
can
saw that.
consider it there.
There was somebody has an issue asking about that. I don't think we had gotten to that one yet. Right here, this issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We can do that with 112. You want the new Nginx version? You got to go to 112.
Nope.
You want
112
a
is
lot.
closed.
112 is close. Okay. I
No,
mean,
we are not going to introduce any new features in 112.
Okay,
Sorry to
that's
say.
fair. Okay. Yeah.
We got our branch. If there are any fixes, we get them. But
That's fair.
yeah, I mean that's the main reason for having the beta in the end.
Yeah. Looks like Long's gonna try to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then this one doesn't need triage anymore then. I don't remember the tag. All right, this one might be our last one. Yeah, I'll accept it. That's what I'm looking for.
You haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, it feels like I haven't.
Yeah, normally just put in triage accepted prior to backlog, whatnot.
Yeah, that's good. Did skip proxy protocols separately. Let's do this. Will be our last one. I would like to enable proxy protocol for incoming HTTP connections, but keep it disabled for HTTP. That sounds like something that would be global.
That sounds weird.
So do they just want to turn on proxy protocol per ingress resource? Because
No.
it's
They want it on a port basis.
they want it just for HTTPS.
Exactly.
Like
Right now we have enabled proxy protocol as a config
That's-
map flag.
Yeah, it's at the
But
config
this
level,
is-
global.
This is not. I wonder if this is even possible.
Yeah, I guess that's the first question. Is it even possible with NGINX? I don't see why not, because each
Stream proxy. Yeah, because this is not. Is this you're not the proxy protocol directive is not being added to the listen. You cannot decide on the listen.
yeah, but it's per directive. So I guess we would move proxy protocol from a global config map to the ingress resource.
No, that's not the point. The proxy protocol directive for NGINX is in the server context. You cannot define it on a listen on separate ports. So I think.
Well, if we move it to the ingress resource, then they can just define the proxy protocol for their HTTPS resources. That's what I mean.
One moment. What I mean is inside NGINX, inside the NGINX config, you at some point configure the ports you want to listen on. So
Yeah.
443 for HTTPS and 80 for HTTP, for example. And these ports are used globally, no matter which host name, no matter which path, they're used globally. And on the same level, you configure if proxy protocol is being used or not, but you cannot differentiate between ports. You can only tell the whole NGINX uses proxy protocol or the whole NGINX doesn't use proxy protocol in the end. I think you cannot tell for port 80 I want it to be enabled, and for port 443 I don't want it to be enabled.
Well, they're saying that you can.
These are not the same. So from a configuration point of view, there is no way to securely and safely tell that for 443 it's being used and for port 80 it's not being used.
This is ringing some bells for me from my years at Kong. I feel like what Marco's saying is right. I know what you're saying with it's like it looks like you can, but I vaguely remember this being an issue where you could not have that configuration be different.
Yeah. You need to know proxy protocol is on the highest level of TCP. So it's just in the first packet, you send the IP address and some information. And I'm not even sure. I think this is even before the handshake. And so on a application side, NGINX side, it needs to be somewhere in the port configuration. So it doesn't have to do anything with which host you're requesting. And then now I looked up in the documentation of NGINX, because I was expecting it to be maybe it's just a parameter of the listen directive, but it isn't. It's just as stated, I need to look it up for more details, but I feel like that's not on the listen directive.
All right. Sounds like you've got more background
We
anyway.
should not discuss this right now, of course. We
Yeah,
can go into details as well.
that's wow. Marco, what's your username? I am
Gakko still.
still. Maybe I am concussed. All right. Let's go ahead and go to Shane's open topic.
Sounds good. Heading back to my desk here. I was just grabbing something.
Okay.
So I think you guys know, I think I told you guys a while back
Maybe
that in
but-
the SIG-Network, like README, community README, that Ingress is now like officially listed in there. Like Ingress NGINX is like part of the Ingress subproject. It was always officially, but it wasn't written. And a PR just went through recently that updated this list further to try to like more officially add subproject leads. So you'll see that there were some changes there. And you might want to make your own changes to add lead names and a contact channel and stuff like that. So just a heads up if you want to add a little bit more color and context to this, to your section in there, please do. That's very helpful for anybody coming in who's interested.
Okay.
And then more than that, we added a section to the README called Subproject Leadership. So, and again, I may have linked you guys to this while it was a PR.
Talking about this one.
Subproject leads. The TLDR, if you want that, because I don't think we want to read it out loud or anything like that. But the TLDR here is we're trying to open up more bi-directional communication between the SIG and subprojects. We're trying to encourage more bi-directional communication between the SIG and subprojects. To that end, at today's SIG-Network meeting in 30 minutes, I'm doing kind of an update, I'll say a quarterly update, on the things going on in Gateway API. That's it. Just like we're just trying to put a little bit more structure around like making sure we're all communicating better. And one of the reasons is that we've had some projects where communication has not gone well, like KPMG, to be fair, and want to avoid that in the future. So just it's not like a huge thing, but something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything on here that we don't do.
Yeah, that's probably actually true for most groups, but we have more sub-projects kind of growing and spinning up, like multi-network and stuff like that. So we're just trying to create a little bit more of a little more structured, yeah, and a little bit more standard to help everybody kind of stay in touch. To that end, although it doesn't affect you guys at the moment, there's also a PR going in for that will go into the SIG-Network directory for best practices on developing new features with CRDs.
Okay.
Doesn't really affect this group a whole lot, but in case you're interested to know, you can go find the PR. It's in draft right now as I'm kind of working through. I'm trying to get people to help me with it. So if you're interested in like trying to write up some of the best practices, some of the learnings from using CRDs, again, not super relevant to Ingress NGINX, but there's a PR for that too, because that has been a sore spot, especially since at this point, we don't do a whole lot of development in core anymore, like in tree. Gateway API looks like it's probably going to remain a CRD based API and not go in tree, at least not anytime in the foreseeable future. So it's important to have guidance on that as well. Multi-network, for instance, is now moving to a CRD based approach. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the only thing on that list, we probably need to get better at using the project board. We tried there for a while, but it was all just issues, not really like what we were doing. Definitely thought about that when we moved to the Gateway API work. Just need to put the board up.
It becomes interesting then.
Put the board up so folks can see like where we're at, like what we're thinking. Okay. Yeah. Nothing new on that one. Okay. Really? do we want to spend 10 minutes on some PR, looking at some PRs? I know there might be, I think there was a couple last week that we just didn't. I'm just gonna go to the list. I don't know if any new ones have come up. Looks like they tried to fix that, so that's good. We won't look at that one. This one we talked about last week. Did we talk about the node port last time? I for one am just not a fan of external name, like us proxying external name. That just sounds like an open door for exploitation. But that's me. Let's see. When the default backend is used upstream. Oh, this is a small one. They just added the service information. Yeah. This one wasn't a big deal to me, I thought, when I looked at the actual code change, because it's like a one-line code change. They just want to know where it's going. Do you want to go back to that, Marco?
Yeah.
You look like you were
I
still
can
trying
have
to
a look.
grok
No,
it.
no. I know it's just one line, but I haven't understood the use case and what's missing there. But yeah, not important.
I don't see any issues with this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and let this one test.
I think it's already tested.
Oh, I just saw the label.
Yeah, but maybe
I
have a
think that
more
kicks off the.
handy.
Oh yeah, it
Let's
did
have a
work.
more handy commit message in the end. That's all I'd like to do.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the commit message in there. We'll look at it. Oh, it's probably this colon. We'll let the we'll let those kick off and probably need them to change that commit message. All right.
No, that's not what I mean, but never mind.
Oh,
It's just not really explaining to the reader what it's doing. That's all. But I can do this later. Sure.
do you want to review this later? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I'll add you to it. Why not? Look at that one. This one, don't remember. That's in progress anyway, so I'll skip that one. NGINX proxy server list not changed. What happened here? Look at the actual issue. That's a little old. Oh, it's not great. Oh, it's this year, September. Is anybody even along with conversation with Long? Let's go look at the fix. So I just moved it up in the moved it out of the generate template and put it in the controller. So just moved to where when they did the configuration. It all also seems straightforward. Why is this on hold? Did we actually? Excuse me. I don't think we deprecated TLS pass through yet. What would be the alternative? I don't think he's gonna like the answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, that's right. Currently, it's being handled by Go implementation, and probably should be done by NGINX itself. But also,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is.
If we're gonna migrate that, I guess that comes to the question because we actually had that in the Gateway API conversation, like what's layer 7 versus layer 4, layer 3 and 4,
Yeah.
and TLS pass through was the example.
Layer 4.5.
Layer 5.
Yeah, yeah.
You still get the SNI, but I don't know. I mean, it just drops half of the Ingress API in the end.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I think if we're going to continue with our plans that we talked about for Salt Lake City, this functionality would get moved to Gateway API. So we probably should just close this out because we're not going to put this in a fix in 112. But if we're going to do the crossplane for 113, maybe we could. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts? Since they've already done the code fix.
Yeah, Ricardo is back. Maybe he can explain on that.
Well, we definitely have talked about that, the TLS pass through.
Maybe as a suggestion, I wouldn't merge this right now, but we should probably try to group all of the TLS pass-through problems and improvements that we want to do for Gateway API somewhere, because there are a lot of cases and a lot of people using that. Maybe for Gateway API, at least it would be good to know and not lose the track of all of those things. Specifically in this case, I think we shouldn't merge because this is using the old TLS proxy mode where, yeah, that implementation that runs on the controller, that the controller opens a proxy and keeps sending things like kubeproxy used to work on past. And I think it's kind of something that I don't think it's healthy for the project to keep maintaining that. So maybe if someone want to redesign that using the NGINX new TLS SNI pass through whatever and do that for Gateway API, I think we should be doing. But this one I would close it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll put that as a follow-up. Okay, folks. Anything else we want to discuss? I just like having a few minutes before my my customer meeting. So I'm just gonna end this short if we didn't have anything. No? Awesome. Thanks, folks. I'll see y'all in Slack.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye.